Curly was almost asleep. Not fully asleep. That would have been too generous. Almost asleep. The fragile kind. The kind that should not be touched. The room had finally stopped asking questions. The blanket was acceptable. The pillow had cooled enough. The phone was face down. The fan was quiet. Even Curly's thoughts had started losing grammar. Then the sound happened. A soft buzz. Not a mosquito. Not exactly. The phone. One short vibration against the wooden floor. Curly did not open their eyes. That was the first act of resistance. The second act was pretending not to care. The third act was immediately caring. Curly stayed still, very still, as if movement would make the vibration real. The room went quiet again. Too quiet. The almost sleep was gone. Curly could feel where it had been, like a chair someone had just stood up from. Curly opened one eye. The phone was still face down. Innocent. Dark. A small rectangle pretending it had not done anything. Curly closed the eye. Maybe sleep could return. Maybe the body had saved the place. Maybe nothing had been lost. Curly waited. The pillow was warm now. That was new. The blanket was touching the neck wrong. That was also new. The right foot felt too covered. The left foot felt ignored. Curly hated having limbs. The phone did not vibrate again. That should have helped. Instead, it made the first vibration louder. Curly turned onto their side. Slowly, the sheet shifted. The mattress made a tiny sound. Curly froze. Now everything was awake. The bed, the room, the floor, the skin, the phone. Curly's whole body had filed a complaint. Curly reached toward the phone, stopped halfway. Checking it would be defeat. Not checking it would also be defeat. Curly pulled the hand back, placed it on the blanket, very calmly, like someone with values. The hand stayed there for 4 seconds, then reached again. Curly picked up the phone, only to check the time, not the notification. The time. That was different. The screen lit up. 2:18. Too late to be normal. Too early to be morning. A bad number. Under the time, there was one notification, a message. Curly read the preview by accident. Obviously. Sorry, are you asleep? Curly stared at it. The answer had been yes, almost, which felt worse than no. Curly was not asleep now, but Curly had been close enough to resent the question. Curly turned the phone face down, then face up, then face down again. The message stayed in the room, not on the screen, in the air. Curly lay back down. The pillow was wrong. Curly turned it over. The cold side was smaller now, a limited resource, wasted. Curly closed both eyes, tried to return to the place before the vibration. That place had closed. No forwarding address. Curly exhaled too hard. Then noticed it. Now breathing was involved. Curly breathed softer, too soft, then too deliberately, then gave up breathing normally, which was not how breathing worked. The phone stayed quiet. Curly hated that. Curly had wanted quiet. Curly still wanted quiet. Curly did not want quiet like this. Quiet after a notification was not quiet. It was waiting. Curly opened their eyes again. The room looked unchanged. That felt insulting. Everything inside Curly had changed. The room had not even moved. Curly sat up, slowly, with the heavy anger of someone who had almost escaped. The blanket slid off one shoulder. Cold air touched the arm. Curly pulled the blanket back, too hard. The sheet came loose. Curly stared at the sheet. The sheet had joined the wrong side. Curly fixed the corner. It popped out again. Curly fixed it harder. That made the mattress shift. Now the pillow moved. Curly fixed the pillow. Now the blanket was twisted. The bed had become an argument. Curly stood up. The floor was cold. Of course it was. The world had chosen details. Curly picked up the phone. The message was still there. Sorry, are you asleep? Such a careful message. That made it worse. If it had been rude, Curly could have been cleanly angry. But it was apologetic, soft, almost considerate. A considerate interruption was harder to hate. Curly hated it anyway. Then felt guilty. Then hated the guilt. Curly unlocked the phone, opened the chat. This was not planned. It was just where the thumb went. The message became red. Curly stopped moving. Now there was a new problem, a problem Curly had personally created. The text box appeared. The keyboard waited. Curly typed, that was honest. Too honest. Also petty. Curly deleted it. Typed, no worries. A classic lie. Too generous. Deleted it. Typed, all good. Even worse. It was not all good. It was 221. Deleted it. Typed, yeah, I was. This felt aggressive. Deleted. Yeah, now. I was. Too bare. Deleted it. The empty box blinked. The cursor had no sleep debt. Curly envied that. Curly locked the phone. Placed it face down on the bed. Immediately worried. The bed would muffle another vibration. Moved it to the floor. Immediately worried the floor would make it louder. Moved it to the pillow. That was too intimate. Moved it beside the pillow. Compromise. A bad one. Curly lay down again. The phone was too close. The phone was too far. The phone was exactly where Curly had put it. That did not help. The room was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes the body check every system. Jaw, shoulders, knees, tongue. Why was the tongue resting like that? Curly moved the tongue, then regretted noticing the tongue. This was how sleep left. Not all at once. In stupid little pieces. Curly closed their eyes. The message appeared again. Sorry, are you asleep? Curly imagined replying. I was. Only 2 words. A tiny punishment. A fair punishment. Maybe. Curly imagined the other person saying sorry. Then Curly imagined having to say it was fine. Then Curly imagined lying politely. For several more messages. That sounded exhausting. Curly opened their eyes. The phone had not moved. Still, Curly checked it. No new message. Curly felt relieved, then more awake. The anger had nowhere to go now. No new buzz, no enemy, just the old interruption still echoing in the body. Curly got out of bed. Not for a reason. The body needed a scene change. Curly walked to the kitchen. The hallway was dark. The floor made one small sound. Curly hated the floor briefly. The kitchen looked abandoned. A glass sat near the sink. Curly filled it with water. Drank too fast. The water felt too cold. Curly stood there, holding the glass, like sleep might find them standing. It did not. Curly opened the refrigerator. The light was offensive. Too bright. Too awake. Curly looked inside. Nothing was relevant. A container. A lemon. A bottle of sauce. Half an onion judging everyone quietly. Curly closed the refrigerator. Opened it again. Still nothing. Curly closed it more softly, as if the refrigerator deserved manners and the phone did not. Back in the room, the phone was glowing. Curly had left it unlocked. The chat was open. The text box was empty. The message sat there. Sorry, are you asleep? Curly stood in the doorway. A person with water and no legal claim to sleep anymore. The phone dimmed. Curly tapped it awake, then felt accused by their own finger. The keyboard opened. Curly typed, it's fine. Too cold. Deleted it. Typed, I was almost asleep. LOL. The LOL looked insane. Deleted. LOL. Now it was just, I was almost asleep. That was too true. Too sharp. Too much like a receipt. Curly deleted almost. Now. I was asleep. A lie. A tempting lie. Deleted it. Typed, no worries again. The phrase returned like an employee who knew the building. Curly stared at it. No worries. There were several worries. At least 5. Curly deleted it. Typed nothing. The person on the other side was probably waiting, or maybe asleep now. That possibility made Curly angrier. They could ask the question and then leave. Curly could not. Curly had to live with the question. Curly knew this was unfair. The knowledge sat nearby, unhelpful. The phone buzzed again. Curly flinched. The new message said, never mind, sleep. Curly stared. The audacity of sleep. As if sleep had remained available. As if Curly had simply forgotten to accept it. Curly typed, Trying. Deleted it. Too bitter. Typed. I am. Clearly false. Deleted it. Typed. You too. They had not said goodnight. Deleted it. Typed. Okay. Too small. Too angry. Deleted it. The empty box returned. Safe. Useless. Curly put the phone face down, then slid it away with 2 fingers. A little farther. Then pulled it back with the charging cable. Close enough to hear. Far enough to seem done. The room was quiet. The real quiet now. The one Curly had wanted earlier. It felt suspicious. Curly lay down again. The pillow had no comfort left. The blanket had no correct shape. The glass was empty. The phone was silent. The message had been answered. There was nothing left to fix. That was the worst part. Curly closed their eyes. The body did not believe it. The body waited for the next vibration, the next sound, the next apology, the next small thing to blame. Nothing came. The anger was still there, smaller now, embarrassing. With nowhere to land, Curly turned onto one side, then the other, then back. The phone did not move. The screen stayed dark. Curly almost missed, having a reason to be awake. That was unfair. That was true. A few minutes passed, or did not. Curly refused to check, then checked. 2:49. Curly stared at the time. If sleep started now, there would still be hours. Not enough, but some. Curly began doing the math, then stopped. Sleep math was a trap. The phone stayed in Curly's hand. Curly did not remember picking it up. That seemed like a problem for Morning Curly. Morning Curly was already doomed. Curly placed the phone face down, then turned it slightly, just enough for the edge of the screen to show, just in case. The room stayed quiet. Curly closed both eyes. For a moment, sleep came near again. Not close. Near. Curly held still, carefully, politely, like approaching a shy animal. Then the glass on the desk settled with a tiny click. Curly opened both eyes. The anger came back immediately, grateful to have somewhere to go.